name is Lotta, and I'm subbing today for Alyssa. We're going to do a gentle vinyasa flow, but we're just going to start with some sort of more stretching exercises just to get a bit going into it, because I'm also teaching yin, so I just really wanted to incorporate some really short yin poses in here. So if you have a block or a prop, you might want to sit on it. We're just going to do a breathing exercise here. And maybe that's more comfortable for you. Okay, so it's just, we're just going to breathe in through the nose. And when we exhale, we're going to make a sound, a humming sound. So it sounds like, If you want, you can just keep on having your eyes open and your ears open, or you can also cover your eyes and cover your ears with your thumbs like this to really internalize this. Totally up to you. I'm just gonna say we'll do it 3 times and we'll just begin. So if you want, you can cover your ears, or your eyes and your ears, and breathe in. And again.
I'm only seeing yoga specialists. I'm not seeing you. Are you on video?
Sorry?
Are you on your own video? Because I'm just seeing the yoga specialists.
Oh,
picture.
did I not pin? Are you seeing me now?
Yes, that's good. Thank you.
Sorry, I pinned it, but I guess it didn't spotlight for everybody. Sorry about that. So all good now? Okay. Then let's just start again. Thanks for letting me know, Julia. So 2 more times with the breathing here. All right. So if you want, you can cover your eyes and your ears. Breathe in through the nose and exhale with a humming sound. And again. Move your hands if you have them. Maybe roll your shoulders a couple times here. And just notice how your breath feels and how you feel in your body. Maybe you still feel the vibrations from our humming, like a little hummingbird here. And maybe roll forwards with the shoulders. And then let's come onto our knees into a tabletop. And then we're just going to walk our hands forward into a puppy pose. Your chest can be on the ground, but doesn't have to. Mine is not here. You can have your chin on the ground, or maybe your forehead, whatever feels better here. And then just focus on your breath. And if you want, you can also set up an intention for this class, where you can also just focus on the breath. It's always a bit hard to set up these things on Zoom. We just went to a nicer video here, and that's why I forgot to pin it. Thanks again for pointing that out. And just really notice how they might feel, these stretches, or just shorter versions of our yin poses and stretches, are just because some of us work or live a lot while sitting. So really stretching the back can be very important for us. Now come back up. Walk your hands towards your knees until your hands are just below your shoulders. And then raise the left arm all the way up towards the sky and thread it through forearm, thread the needle here. You can rest your shoulder and your head on the mat and extend your arm long. Those slower paced poses are always great to just notice how you feel and really focus on your breath. Make sure you get in the zone of teaching too for me, but for practicing. To honor that you actually made the time to go on the mat today. And you can also check in with yourself how you feel today. Maybe you're very energetic, maybe you're a bit tired. And then based on that, you can adjust your practice. You can always make it harder or easier. And really adjust it to what you need. And it might change throughout the practice too. All right, so let's move the hand closer to the face. Left hand all the way up towards the sky. And place it back down. Right hand goes all the way up to the sky. And we're threading it through. Right shoulder onto the mat. And the left arm extended. Especially with those gentle flows, I find it very important to just adjust to the level you need today, because they can come in very different variations. They can almost be a really quick vinyasa or a very, very, very easy slow flow. So I'm always trying to make sure that everything, something for everybody. But of course, you can always help me by just adjusting, taking your modifications that I show you as you need. And if it gets too hard at any point, please come back into child's pose and just take your rest. Make it really your practice. I'm just trying to give you some ideas of what you can practice here. Left hand to the face, press up, and right hand all the way up to the sky. Move it back down. And now, instead of just doing cat-cows, which you always also can do, we're just gonna do some organic movement here. So you can, for example, roll your spine here in a circle-like motion, or you can press all the way back into like a child's pose. You come to the front. Any movement really that feels good here. Only thing that would be great is if you connect it to your breath. That way you can really see maybe your side body, your obliques need some stretch and you can really go in them. Or maybe you do need cat-cow. Just some time here to play around and do the movement you need right now. Generally, if you move like that, if you would go and sink back into a child's pose, it naturally feels like you want to exhale. That's usually the case when we make ourselves smaller and contract the stomach. We exhale, you make yourself really big and long. You want to inhale. But in case that's confusing or doesn't feel good for you, just go with whatever feels good for your body. All right, we're going to tuck the toes here and then really sink back and come up into our downward facing dog. First one of the day, or at least for this class. You can have your knees all the way bent here, even all the way at your stomach. If you really want to see to set up your downward dog properly, to ground through all fingertips, really press the palms of the hand into the mat, make some space between the ears and the shoulders. And then if you feel like your spine is also straight here, you can then see if you want to get your heels closer to the ground and maybe pedal out your dog. You can just move from side to side here. Maybe you also feel like it would be cool to just have your toes around the heel of the other foot and just stretch one hamstring. In my case, that's the right hamstring instead of having the left one on top of the heel. If your stability allows that, that can be a good stretch. Just any movement, you can really just move a bit more today. And then find some stillness in our down dog. And really make sure your hands and your feet are in a nice position, shoulder width and hip width apart. Shift your weight towards the right. And maybe you have some space to free up the left hand here and wrap it to your right heel, chin. And maybe you can sort of do that little twist here with your 3 limbs on the ground. Again, as I mentioned, all these cues are always optional. Let's come back. Move our weight towards the left and maybe free the right to grab onto the left ankle. Chin. Somewhere you can reach that is comfortable. And come back to your down dog. Bend the knees a lot and then really tiptoe towards your hands. Make it tiny. Surprisingly hard sometimes to just tiptoe to your hands. Arrive in your forward fold. Maybe you want to connect the arms here and shift from side to side. Your knees can be extended or bent wherever you're at. Maybe make sure to also relax your neck here. By this, we really bring some space between our vertebrae. We try to lengthen it, try to take some pressure off them. And it's great to, therefore, to relax your neck too, to give your neck some space as well. Get the hands back towards the ground and maybe pedal out your forward fold here. Left hand goes in the center of your feet, in front, maybe the full hand, maybe just fingertips, or maybe on the block. And then you can open up towards the right into a twist. This can also be with bent knees here. And maybe you can look up. That feels okay for your neck. Focus on your breath here. And then hand back down, right hand in the center, and your left arm towards the sky. Just a second here, we're going to get up so our heads don't get crazy flooded here. Left hand down, and then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, roll up. Make it really, really slow. And focus on your breath on the way up. Tiny bit slower, almost there. And then stand proud in your Tadasana here. Your feet hip width apart. Maybe lift the toes, wiggle them a bit, and then fully extend them wide and grab them into the mat. If you're wearing shoes, that can be a feeling we sometimes don't do, really grabbing with the toes. Engage your kneecaps, but don't lock the knees. Your butt engaged, your shoulders to the side, chest proud, open, hands by the side. Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a deep breath. Sigh it out. And then open your feet more than hip width apart. The toes pointing up towards the side, and then with this straight spine, gently sink down low in your Malasana squat. You can always help yourself with your hands here. And you can also move a block under your sit bone to support yourself. Maybe you want to connect the hands at front of heart center. And you can also, if that feels good, shift from side to side. In case you need a bit more stretch on your hips here, you can also connect your fists and make more space. Left hand goes in front of our feet, and the right hand goes up for a twist here again. You can maybe look up. And then the right hand goes in the center again, and the left hand goes up. Maybe you want to look up too. And goes back to the center. We're just going to stay in the Malasana. I'm going to shift around here. And now place the hands in front of you on the mat. Put a bit of weight into your hands and just step right leg and left leg back so that you arrive in your plank here. Make it a strong plank. Focus on your breath. You can always come down on your knees. And then from here, lift down on the knees and take your chest, knee, chin. Untuck the toes and prepare for our Cobra. Maybe you have the hands by your side, sort of on the under your shoulders. And if that's okay for your back, maybe you can even lift the hands up really press through the tops of the feet, engage the glutes, lift up, and relax. Crocodile. The left cheek goes onto your folded hands. Take a deep breath. Come back up, hands under your shoulders. We're going to engage again for Cobra. And maybe again you can lift off your hands. You can look forward, but not super up. Make it healthy for our spine and our neck here. And then come back down, crocodile pose, right cheek on your folded hands. Relax every muscle here for a second. Now hands under our shoulders again, and you can either press up through a tabletop or right into a plank, totally up to you. We are going to meet in downward facing dog. Right leg goes all the way up to the sky. Bend it and slowly move it through. Hold it into your chest and place the foot in front of your hand, in between your hands. Lower the left knee and come up for your low lunge onto the asana. You can either stay with your hands in front of heart center or have them up in the air. Here we can really come forward into our hip flexor. So we want to just see that our knee is on top of the ankle and that we don't overarch our spine here in the back. You don't have to make it completely straight, but just be aware of it, that you're not really going forward with the belly. That's what helps you to engage your glute here. And then hands onto the mat. We're going to go for a half split. If you have long legs, so it feels uncomfortable, sometimes you need to move your feet a bit forward. And then make sure you're trying to get a straight spine here. Actually, if you want to see the difference right now, that's what I'm trying to make it really straight. That's what happens to my spine when I'm on blocks. Really nice and straight. That's why I do encourage the use of blocks with this. Just to really go nicely into the poses. Feel the stretch here. Maybe you need tiny movements in this. It doesn't have to be super static. Maybe static is good for you. Come back to the front and come up again into your low lunge. From here, we're going to bend a bit towards the right to stretch our side obliques again, these ones, but we're stretching them on the other side. So you can either have your hand on your thighs for support and stretch over, or you can have both your arms stretch over to the side for a bit of a balance challenge here. Again, this is a good way to support yourself here, still getting the same stretch. And then come back up, hands onto the ground, tuck the toe, and come back up into your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. And you can either chill out here in your downward facing dog or take an optional vinyasa, the chest knee chin cobra variation, or chaturanga and upward facing dog. Go really slow, or you can just remain. Left leg up towards the sky. Move the leg into your chest. Hold it for a second and place it in between the hands. Right knee to the ground. Come up to your low lunge or Anjaneyasana. That's good. If you have your hands, if your arms extended up, make sure you have some space between the ears and the shoulders. And just focus on your breath. Hands come down to the mat. We're going to shift back for our half split. As you see, it's not super pretty, but I do need to shift my feet forward to make some space here. So if you are the same, don't feel bad about it at all. Very natural. It's more important for us that our hips here are in same place, I guess it's called, the same angle here, and that it looks perfect to get in and we're right in it. Just shift around in whichever pose you are, adjust what you need, and then it's much better for your body than just ending up in the pose you originally went in and just stay there even though it might be uncomfortable. Deep breath. When you exhale, maybe sink a tiny bit deeper into the stretch. And then shift back forward. And come up into your low lunge. Now we're going to do the side stretch again. So you can either have your left arm on your left side and reach over, or you can have both arms to the side. You don't have obstacles there. And just notice, obviously, if there's pain, please just come out of the pose. If there's a bit of discomfort or you're just feeling it and you're not sure, then just try to really breathe at it. And with every exhale, maybe that unpleasant sensation collects out of the body. One more second here. And come to the middle. Hands on the mat. Tuck the toe. And meet me back down and downward facing dog. Deep breath here. And either remain in your downward facing dog or take an optional vinyasa, whichever one you prefer. Once you're back in downward facing dog, come down to your knees and come into child's pose. Just for a moment here to connect with our breath, with our body, maybe with our intention. Come back up into a tabletop. And just as a little more of a balance challenge here, if you want, you can extend your right arm to the front. Maybe that's enough. Or maybe you also want to extend your left leg back here. Adjust yourself so that you're really stable. And you can either just remain here or maybe just pulse up for 5 times. You see what happens here with your balance. Come back down. Extend the left arm and the right leg long. And maybe again you want to just pulse them up. And after 5 times, bring them back down. Come into your tabletop. And maybe you can just either extend the right arm and the left leg and remain, or you can see if you can move them to the side for 5 times. We're going to do we're doing a bit of a balancing and grounding practice today to show the opposites here. After 5 times, come back down. Because I find it always great to connect those two and see the difference so that you're grounded and balanced. But that's what we really need in our daily life. And if you want to follow me again, extend your arm and the leg to the side. Again, feel free to take child's pose or just remain steady in your extended arm and leg. And then come back into child's pose. Maybe this time, tend your fingers in front. Open your hips wide, knees to the side. Just again, focus on your breath. Then come back up and move into your downward facing dog. Right leg goes up towards the sky. Hold your leg into the knee. 1 more second and move it into your hands, in between your hands. Left leg onto the ground and come back up for your low lunge. Hands to the ground. We're going to move back into our half split. And then come back to your low lunge. And now from here, you can have your hands on the ground and support yourself, or you can try to just tuck your left toe and come up into your high lunge here. High lunge is the one where we have the heel off the ground. So just see that you really have it high off. It actually will give you more stability too. As if the heel was drooping down somewhere here, that makes the whole foot pretty unstable. Hold it here. And again, you can remain, or if you want, we can do one more stretch to the side, the same as we did in the low lunge. So make sure your stance is nice and stable, and either hold on to your thigh or have both arms, and just really gently bend over to the side. The stretch would be in your left side body. And come back to the center, arms down, move back into your down dog, and you can either stay here or take an optional vinyasa, whichever variation you prefer if you want to do a vinyasa. Left leg goes out to the sky. Knee into the chest. And the feet in between the hands. Right leg down. Come up for your low lunge. Then make sure your knee is not tracing over the ankle. If it's a bit behind, that's okay. And also, if you tend to have knee pain in all these kneeling positions because it is heavy on the knee, you can always roll up the mat underneath you. I have the privilege of having another cushion under there. Otherwise, I would actually roll my mat, and it can really hurt. Depends on the person. Hands down. I'm going to come back into half split. And come forward again for a low lunge under the asana. Again, we're going to come up to our high lunge. So you can use your hands on the ground, or you can just tuck the toe and come up. Everything's fine. If you need a wall to hold on, that's also totally fine. Just whenever you're ready. You can keep it here in our high lunge. And the arms are still having some space between the ears and the shoulders. Heels are high up. Now we're going to move towards the left again for our side oblique stretch. So feel free to have your arm on the thigh or have it in the air. Come back to the center. Fight the balance. You can do it. And then hands down to the mat. Come back into your downward facing dog and remain here or take your vinyasa. And one more time, we're just going to go towards the mat and take a quick child's pose here. To really focus on our breath. And to ground ourselves, because I have one more balance challenge for us, not super hard, but a bit of grounding and arm up here. Come back up, press up to your downward facing dog, and then just tiptoe towards your hands. Forward fold, maybe legs bend, maybe straight. And then come up to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and slowly roll all the way up until you are back in Tadasana. Try to remember all the cues I gave earlier, make it a really nice, strong grounding Tadasana. Stand like a mountain. And move your feet, make sure they're really hip width apart. We're going to prepare for a tree. Going from our strong mountain into a tree. Nothing changes the balance, right? So prepare yourself, shift the weight towards the right and lift the left off. Maybe it is here where your ankle is, height of your knee, or all the way up. Everything is great here. Look for a point that doesn't move. Maybe not the camera for this one, maybe another one. And you can have your arms in front of the heart center, and then wide to the side or up towards the sky. Really focus on it. If you fall out, no problem, just come back in. We will still be here. One more moment. And slowly get your foot down. Maybe you can get it down really slow. And then wiggle your feet out. Maybe shake them out a little bit. And come back to stand hip width apart. Stand tall. Stand your Tadasana. And then shift towards the left. Free your right foot. Maybe again, you'll have it lower. Maybe you'll have it higher. And find your comfortable arm position for this one. One side is most likely going to be better than the other. Or let's just call it different. Just different than the other. And it also really depends on what flooring you have here. I cannot recommend doing this on carpet or anything soft. That always throws me off balance too. Focus on your breath here and on your point of concentration. We call them drishti points in yoga. Just a moment longer. And then free your right leg, slowly move down. Wiggle out your feet again. Maybe inhale, raise the arms all the way up towards the sky. Make yourself tall. Get one arm taller, stretch the right one, stretch the left one, which again is going to stretch outside. You can do this on the tiptoes too, if your belly allows. And then just slowly fold forward. And hang here. One more time when you forward fold, really relax your arms long. Plant the hands on the mat and step back into your plank. You can have your plank on the knee or up in the air. If the plank is too much like this, you can also go onto your forearms. But one thing to protect your wrists is to really press into the corners of your hands, where the index finger goes into your palm, and not where the wrist connects to your arm. That causes pain. Hold for one more moment and get the knees down. Come back into your tabletop. Right arm goes in front, left extended. You can either hold it here or pulse it with me into the core for 5 times. Just slow here. And stand it long and come back to your tabletop. If you want, you can come back and shake up your wrists here for a moment, or even sit on your toes for a bit of a toe stretch. They can be very intense. Feel free to just skip the toe stretch And come back to your tabletop. And I believe it was the left arm and the right leg now extended. And you can crunch the lunge in with me for 5 times or remain in the extension or in child's pose. And move it back down to your tabletop. Come to a seated position, swing the legs around, and move to the center of your mat. We're going to prepare for a bridge pose. In case you have a block, you can now choose to take a more restorative version of a bridge pose or do the more active one. They're both really great. So no matter what you do, get your heels closer to your butt, maybe so you can touch your heels with fingertips. And on inhale, lift up your pelvis towards the sky. And here, if you have a block, remove the block under your sacrum. And just hold this here. This is a really nice restorative version of bridge pose. Or you can really try to lift up higher. And with an exhale, lower your pelvis down to the ground. And another inhale, we're going to lift up the pelvis again. Maybe move the shoulders a bit under and connect your hands. See if that gets you a little bit higher in your bridge. Look that your knees are still above the ankles. So they should be hip width apart. That protects your knees in this pose. And then disconnect the hands and slowly lower down. From here, you can hug the knees into your belly and roll from side to side on your spine. If that's okay for your neck and feels good, you can also really hug yourself into a little ball. On certain days, that's just not great for the neck. It really depends on you as a person and on your current state of your body. Now we're going to extend the left leg long, keep the right leg in, and guide the right leg onto the left side for our recline twist here. The right arm can extend, and maybe you look to the right. Back to the center, hug your right knee in one more time, extend it long, and hug the left knee in. Guide your left leg over to the right side and extend your left arm to the side, maybe look to the left. And here you can have your right hand on the knee to guide it down a little bit more. If you feel you want a bit more in this pose. Just again, focus on your breath here. Notice how your body feels now. Compare it to before the practice or at the beginning. And then guide your leg back into the middle. Hug your left leg in and extend it long. We're slowly going to roll onto our right side and come up into a seated position again. Cross the legs or have the soles of the feet together. We're going to do a seated twist here. So inhale, arms to the sky, and exhale. The left hand goes onto the right knee. The right hand goes in the back. And you can look back if you want. You really don't have to connect the soles of the feet here. You can really just sit in any other position too. Cross-legged, hero's pose, whatever feels good. Come back to the center. Sit with a straight spine. Inhale, arms to the center, to the sky. And then the right hand onto the left knee. Left hand in the back. And maybe look back. Back to the center. Straight spine. And one more time, hands to the ceiling. And exhale, side out. Close your legs or untangle them and move back to a lying position on your backs. And here you can either just roll from side to side, take a happy baby, which looks like this, or any other pose you would want before we go into Shavasana. Just really prepare your Shavasana. Depending where you are, you might need a sweater or socks or something, but I do hope it's warm enough so you don't need that. Just make yourself comfortable so that you can rest for a couple minutes here. And you can start moving into your Shavasana whenever you're ready. Let your feet fall towards the side and relax. Your arms relax by the side. Maybe your gaze soft or your eyes closed. And then just noticing what your body feels here. When your body touches the mat and the floor. When you feel the grounding reassurance of the earth carrying you. And with every inhale, just inhale all these positive feelings that you produced through this practice. At least you can be really proud of yourself for showing up today. And maybe you just feel any other spectrum of feeling right now. And with every exhale, you can release stress, negative emotions, and just go deeper into the relaxation. Please enjoy your Shavasana now, and I will let you know when it's time to get out. And now you can gently start wiggling your toes and your fingers. Take a deep breath. And then prepare for rolling onto either side. Just relax there for a moment. Notice how you feel. And once you're ready, you can come up to a comfortable seat. Can be really anything. If you feel like sitting, we're just gonna close the class together. And inhale and move the arms all the way up towards the sky. Close the hands and move them towards our heart center. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your practice with me and allowing me to guide you. I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I hope that this was beneficial for you and you feel relaxed or strengthened or whatever you wanted to be here for today. Thanks so much. Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you.